To other developments, the Nigerian military has attributed the majority of deadly attacks on farming communities across the country to foreign headers. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangi, intelligence suggests that armed infiltrators from Sahel countries are entering Nigeria through its porous borders. While acknowledging the involvement of some Nigerian headers, Kangi emphasized that the preponderance of violence, particularly in Plateau and Benue states, is being driven by these foreign elements who are distinguishable by their language and appearance. In response, the military is calling for enhanced border security and community vigilance, while also pledging to intensify operations against all forms of violence. Let's have a conversation on this. I have two gentlemen, our security consultant, retired Group Captain Sadiq Shehu. We also have a counter-terrorism expert, Dr. Dickson Osajie. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the news. Let's begin by establishing first off, if you agree with, let's start with you, Dr. Osajie. Do you agree that this has to do with foreign infiltrators mainly than the locals?
Well, I totally agree. Because when you look at the philosophy of our national borders, you understand that these foreign elements are capitalizing on the vulnerability of our national borders. And that is why it's very important for us to understand that a borderless country is a no country. If we don't have an effective border security, I tell you, our security forces will keep on engaging this criminal element in eternity. If we want to ensure that we bring Nigeria to a state of positive peace, we need to go all out to carry out a vulnerability analysis of our national borders and see how we're going to project mitigation factors to ensure that these foreign elements that pass through the government space are curtailed and brought to book. Because we can't have our military putting in their efforts on one side, and the vulnerability of our national borders is frustrating their efforts. I think the Nigerian immigration is only responsible for the protection of our border management agency, the Nigerian immigration section, should carry out a vulnerability analysis and advise the government on where to go in the porosity of our national borders and your government space, because your government space in Nigeria is highly disturbing.
Captain Shehu, several of our neighbors like Chad and Cameroon, especially those in ECOWAS, seem to have done something Nigeria alone isn't able to do. What does it take to implement an effective monitoring system and early warning capabilities? Captain Shehu,
is that my question? Hello?
Captain, yes.
Is that my question, please?
Yeah. Did you get the question? Or you wanted
yes. Okay. Permit me to say first that I slightly agree with my colleague on the platform, Mr. Dickson. And I must say again, even the headline that is on your screen now, foreigners behind plateau. When I read the report, what the spokesman said verbatim, I think he was not this conclusory that the people are from, are from foreign countries. And I would, in my own way, I would caution against any conclusory statement which says that these people are not locals fighting themselves, but rather foreigners. When you look at the location of Benue and Plateau states, you are talking of the middle of Nigeria. So if you tell me that, foreigners from the outer fringes of Nigeria came through until the Arab Benue and Plateau and are fighting, I find it difficult. And it is even more frightening to accept that, conclusion, because what you are saying is that foreigners are coming into our territory, chasing Nigerians, taking over their land, and then, either staying there or disappearing. With due respect, I find that very difficult. And when I read the statement by the General Kangi, I see him saying something like, they look like, it suggests. I don't think, these are things that I have been hearing. And it is really, really, frightening to think that foreigners can come and do these things and then disappear into thin air. Have we, I heard him saying that we've arrested them. If we're arresting them, it's not, an issue of saying their hair texture or their speech sounds like this thing. We should be having confirmatory empirical evidence that these people are from such and such country. I do not hear all that. I may be, I'm not even talking about what the general said, but even when the governor of Benue is saying, he said they are foreigners, the Hausa they are speaking is not Nigerian Hausa, and all those kind of things. With due respect, I do not share that sentiment. And I think I would caution anybody about making such a conclusory evidence. If you have them arrested, we should be telling us that the people who are arrested are from this and this country. But not talking about hair or talking about their language or talking about their distance. I do not share that sentiment. Thank you very much.
Okay, I was going to ask before I jumped on to the second question about, we have all these border patrol, we have border management, intelligence gathering, immigration, custom, national intelligence agency, and so much more when it comes to managing our borders and our security. And like Captain Shehu rightly highlighted, using those trademark is not enough. Foreigner or not, these headers are not ghosts. Is it so hard to track them down on our soil, Dr. Dickson?
Thank you very much, Felicity. Fantastic point from Group Captain Sadiq, because I found it disturbing when we hear some senior officers coming on air to brief the Nigerian people that the people disturbing this country are perhaps foreign people or whatever. Security is achievable when it comes to crime prevention. You need to go after these criminals with speed and momentum and bring them to book, because you can't forecast and be telling Nigerians that they are XYZ people. Well, talking about our national borderline areas, the only way to go is for us to have a national coordination team, because as it is, I tell you that we don't have an effective coordination team within our government security forces, because everybody is just doing what they feel like. The immigration are carrying out their own responsibility, giving brief, the DSS are giving their brief, NSCDC giving their brief. I think when it comes to national security, we need to have a national command center whereby information sharing will be well coordinated for us to engage these people with it. In the happenings presently, I think it's an absence of intelligence gathering. And I tell you that we need to go back to the drawing board and analyze what the problem is, because it's so shameful that after 12 years on, after the emergence of Boko Haram, we are still curtailing with these criminal elements within our territorial space. Like you rightly said, they are not ghosts. I agree. These guys, they don't have military formation, they don't have military barracks, they don't have air power, they don't have a naval bases. They just come from your government space, stage an attack against our military, successfully load our military forces and get back to their government space and take shelter. So if we want to get this right, I think the Nigerian military should go back to the drawing board and analyze this tactical disposition, analyze this operational strategy, so that they will not, so that they'll be able to, bring these guys to justice and bring them to, and ensure that Nigerians, you and I, are able to move around without being intimidated or being coerced. I tell you, I was unable to travel to my hometown some few months ago for the burial of my mother because the road was not friendly, simply because some group of criminal elements have invaded our territorial space. If we want to get this right, we must stage a war and declare a state of emergency against these criminal elements and eliminate them from our territorial space.
Captain Shehu, some have said that the real reason this crisis has lingered is due mainly to political factors. It would seem that everything else is in place. Intelligence is there. Security is there. To some extent, we have the equipment, except it seems the political will to take decisive action. What is the way forward?
I think the way forward is an honest and frank discussion between the security leaders and the political masters. With due respect, when you speak with the people in the front lines, when you take to the military and the security top brass, you do not hear this thing that you are saying everything is in place. However, when the political masters are talking, they say everything in place. And with due respect, this everything in place, or using the correct term that was being used during Buhari administration, we have given them everything is there. But I am telling you that when you talk to the people in the field, you do not hear that. So I think there is no frank discussion between the political ministers.
I'm sorry, Captain, before you go to talk on the way forward, what is still missing? What is missing that perhaps maybe the security agencies don't have even now?
What is missing, like I said, is frank discussion between the people who are supposed to give the military all security, everything, and the security also